Hey. So as I was saying, what a good minute. Just a minute of silence before I began talking. I literally was like, all right, well, now I don't know. I didn't add myself to the stage in the beginning. And then I didn't know I didn't know to do that. And then I didn't know my mic wire wasn't plugged in. Because usually it's plugged in my lightsaber, so I had to unplug it and then plug it back in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're here to celebrate the cover reveal for Ill is the Fate, which is something that I said earlier that now everybody is going to hear. In lieu of my regular weekly writing update video, this is what we're doing. If you just tuned in, you missed nothing because I was speaking to myself. And I'm cleaning some dust off of my computer. But yeah, I'm just super stoked that the cover released. I can sort of go into a little bit of what I'm reading right now. Thank you. Do I sound normal, or is that messed up too? Yeah, thanks, dude. Let me put you up here. I forgot I can do that too. Dude, it's been so long since I've done one of these. If it's not obvious. And even the Book Street Boys podcast. And if you're just tuning in, the Book Street Boys is a Discord that I do not currently have linked in the description of this video, but you can go on any of my other videos or one of Preacher Reed's videos, Jake from Nerd Level Rising, Chris Bearded Book Beasts, Dillon from Spaced Out Reads, Christopher Navo. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Dang it. Oh, the Books, Beverages, and Besties. You go on their channels, you can find some links to the boys, the Book Street Boys, and we can hang out, talk. I occasionally hop into the general chat with a GIF of sorts, usually Doc Holliday, and that's effectively my use in the general chat. But there's tons of channels in there. I know Jake from Nerd Level Rising has his Patreon channel over there for his reading groups. So if you're interested in reading groups, that's just another thing you can do. We are closing in at 97.1 at the top of the hour here. We're going to go into our next song. Huh? Who knows radio? Sorry, I'm just performing for myself. Somebody's got to do it. But yeah, I'm super stoked about Ill is the Fate getting revealed as a cover. The title in lowercase is really annoying to write because it just because the apostrophe keeps coming up on my phone. It always autocorrects to Isle is the Fate, and well, that is a pain in the butt. And the lowercase, the capital I, lowercase L situation, that is relatively notorious, does make it kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to mostly capitalize Ill is the Fate in a lot of the posts I put up. And if you have yet to see the cover for Ill is the Fate, for some reason, my website is linked in the description below, I believe, chancedillonauthor.com. You can check it out. My sister absolutely crushed it. We have progress bars for books 1, 2, and 3 up there. The audiobook deal conversation in terms of like with the audiobooks coming soon, I will be giving updates there as they come. And then book 2's progress, which is currently, actually, maybe this is a perfect thing to talk about. Book 2 is currently, Ill is the Fate is currently with Dave Butler, my developmental editor still. I have not received the first go around back quite yet. I believe he started not too long ago, so I didn't expect to get it back super soon. But then I will be diving deep into book 2 edits. But for the meantime, I'm up to 13,000 words. If you haven't gone to, I usually do like my newsletter every week. I do my newsletter every week, and last night I posted it. I put my word count up there for book 3, which I started drafting, and then I will be putting book 2's word count through the editing every week, so you guys can sort of see from point A to point B how much, maybe not how much work it takes, but just like literally, where the word count is at, what it's projecting to become through copy edits. And Dave is my developmental editor, and copy edits from the York Editing Guild for book 1. We went from 230 to 190 to eventually 170. So right now we're starting at about 191 through the editing process. I'm not really sure. Usually there's a net loss through the developmental editing process. So I'm expecting there to be a net loss here. It would just be great. I don't know how much will be cut. And at 191, I was like, oh man, maybe I should inflate this puppy a little more, but it just like is where it ended for me. It was actually one of the most naturally, in terms of writing it, because I started after I had drafted book one. It sort of felt like a continuation of book one, which is the intention of the story as a whole. Of Mercy, and books 1 and 2 are going to be a single book as far as, you know, putting the 2 volumes together into one book. And then we're going to have books 3 and 4 in the same way, making it a total of a duology, even though there's technically 4 books. But the arcs of the story take place, books 1 and 2, books 3 and 4. And so getting into book 2 after writing book 1, before releasing book 1, I think was one of the better decisions I made in terms of like this whole process and figuring it all out. But once book 1 was like relatively ready, as ready as it had at that moment could ever be. I'm sure if I went back now, I maybe I'll find something that I can adjust. But to be honest, I think the story is like as honest as it can be. And so I think going into book 2 this time with the experience of having edited with book 1, having Dave Butler there the first time, now going back into book 2 with him again, I'm actually curious to see the growth that's going to come there, because really it's like being coached by a professional. When you hire a dev editor or a copy editor, you're effectively being coached how to write. And I responded really well the first time. So I'm expecting to get, I'm expecting honestly this time with book 2, I'm expecting to push back a little bit more on some things. Book 1, I really didn't even have my feet on the ground with writing until I went to Dave Butler. And I thought I did, it was all self-taught through videos, books, Brandon Sanderson's lectures, Stephen King's, interviews, George Martin interviews. But really getting effectively what was a master's thesis on Tears of the Fallen and how to write it better from Dave, it drastically improved my writing. So I urge people out there that are writing on their own to research and see if you can do the same thing, because getting eyes like that, like professional eyes, to really peel apart every layer of what your book is trying to do, or what your intent was, and then cleaning it up, making it a concise story, cutting out the fat effectively, trimming it down. You can, when you hire a dev editor, you can always take creative liberties. You're not bound to a publisher who's like, hey, we're not publishing this unless X, Y, or Z. Here's a bell. Yes. A bell, the absolute champion of dust jacket design, typography, spine design. These what I think will come to be iconic spines are done by Abel Montero. And I am grateful that Abel Montero does it. And Abel Montero is also, hold on, stand by. Abel Montero is also an author of The Crimson Fire. And look at that, just cover for himself, for his own story. And his sequel, Sunrise Dagger, is having a cover reveal this weekend as well, by my reports. It's through the grapevine, either this weekend or whenever, but I know in the grapevine that Sunrise Dagger will be having a cover reveal here soon. And so you can see a little bit more of Abel Montero's amazing design work. Tomorrow, there it is. Tomorrow. EJ, what's going on? How are we doing? EJ, were you the one that said that you haven't read Malazan yet? I think so, which is fine. I just am curious. I am genuinely curious, because I'm always curious of people that come to my book before reading Malazan, how they'll feel when they go back and read Malazan. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, I'm always curious. So I think Hobby Vomit and Matt and Ian were from Hobby Vomit were reading Malazan, Dead House Gates, going into my second book when they were alpha reading for me. And they had finished Tears of the Fallen. And so they didn't really have something to really, compare that narrative. By the way, I'm not saying I'm as close as a master craftsman as Steven Erikson is, but that sort of narrative structure, multi-POV, a plot forward might not be the right I don't think that's the right term, because I wrote it with characters at the forefront of like the thing I cared about in this story. And I think by the end of the series, we'll start to see that more. I think each book is going to really peel back the character layers, because there's just a lot of characters in Mercy. And so it does take a little bit of juice to get on to, get your feet and connect with them. And, I'm grateful for those people who are able to. And then I also understand the readers out there that have had a tough time grasping, they're clenching, their teeth and grasping the characters and shaking them when they do something wrong. But that did happen, like in terms of people being viscerally affected by characters, in terms of even myself. But it did happen. So that was it's a really cool experience. All that said. So yeah, EJ, I am very curious as to when you go to reading and read Malazan eventually, maybe or maybe not. But if you do, I think it'll be really interesting. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Gardens of the Moon. With Mercy, I tried to give a little bit more by the end of the first book in terms of like making it honed in on the target, because I don't think I have the chops that Steven Erikson had when he set out to turn Gardens of the Moon from a script to a book. So because I didn't have those chops, and because I don't have readers' trust, and a big publisher doing anything with me or for me, I very much approached it in a way where I was like, okay, like this is gonna be a difficult narrative structure. I need to make it more concise. Any spooky season horror reads this October? Oh man, Ronald Malfi, which I don't know, some guy mentioned him before, some YouTube channel out there, really made me more interested in reading more horror, because I enjoyed Blackmouth. I also enjoyed Discovery. I enjoyed The Stand. I don't know exactly where The Stand stands in the horror genre, but I'm finding that like reading horror, I find a little bit, I'm finding more of an appreciation for it than I expected. Ooh, does it match the first volume? If you're talking about the naked hardcover for Mercy Tears of the Fallen, the answer is I have an art piece I'm considering. That one was one I decided last minute. I had a piece I thought was going to be the naked hardcover, and then I had the same artist work up this current standard hardcover naked art. And I decided last minute that the most recent art that he had done for me with the characters on it was a better cover. And I have a piece, I'm sort of approaching it the same way. Instead of the artist I had do the first image for the first book, I think I'm going to try and find, I'm in talks with some, I like Andrew Molesky's style a lot. Not that I didn't love the style of which I did of the image in my first book, but I was looking to see what that was like. Now, this particular style of art for the naked hardcover, in terms of this like very dark, gritty, real, like almost photorealism, style, I'm thinking I'm going to do something maybe like that, maybe a little brighter. I might pick a brighter scene. Seeing this, oh my gosh. And whenever I like look at it too long and I look at the red eyes in the background, I just get amped up. But yes, it will match. If you're talking about like the style, we're going to try and keep the style the same for the naked hardcover. A Japanese horror, In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami. Oh, interesting. Should I look this up? Should I read? Oh wait, what did I just do? A banner. No. Oh gosh. Hold on. I'm going to look this up. In the... Oh, shoot. Didn't swear. Look at me. Doing pretty good. I think it's Preacher's Influence. In the Miso Soup. Okay. Let's see the overview. A philosophical novel by Ryu Murakami. But a young tour guide in Tokyo becomes suspicious of his American clients' increasing oddities and potential for murder. Oh my gosh. So the person's odd and might murder somebody. Well, I don't want to read the plot, so we're going to get out of that. But that's an interesting enough pitch. Yeah, Preacher, wait, run me through what your horror reads are. What's going on, Keys? Run me through what you're. I know you're going to put out a TBR video, but spoil it here because just spoil it here. Got to do it. The people want to know. The people want to know. But I was considering Empire of the Damned. I know it's like you can read that whenever because it is also fantasy, but I think I read Empire of the Vampire, started about this time last year. And I do want to read that series. I enjoy that series a lot. It has some of the some of my favorite tropes I think in media are played with, not just the framing narrative, but just referring to the how do I would spoil something if I said it, so I don't want to. But there's this particular trope that is revealed in Empire of the Vampire that I enjoy thoroughly. And yeah, I don't know. I like the characters, even though I'll always forget Gabriel De Leon's name. But I do enjoy the characters that Jay Kristoff can write. It's super impressive. But general horror books, I am also in the mood for. It's just literally, I'm halfway through Toll the Hounds. I was probably 20 some odd % in last week's update video, and I feel like I've been crushing it in terms of reading Toll the Hounds, and I am literally only halfway done. It's so wild. There's like 15 hours left in the freaking, and I'm on 2 times speed. 15 hours left, and then as an audiobook. I'm also physically reading it, but I just like the immersive reading stuff. We used to live here. I feel like I've heard of that one. Oh yeah. Okay, it's like a house on the cover. We used to live here. Oh, by Marcus Kleiwer. Huh. I'm probably wrong. I thought Tom Orange said something about this book recently. Okay. Slewfoot, Uzumaki. Dude, you got a lot of. You're like well read in the horror genre. I want to read The Fisherman that you suggested because it gave that you said if you like Discovery, you'll like The Fisherman. So that's one that's on my my horror TBR. I also Blackwater, which I know John is starting soon. Cassandra Caw in October. Okay, horror is like a big thing, huh? I finished The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Currently reading Dracula. I have The Poet by Michael Connolly and Between Two Fires. Nice. Between Two Fires. That is also another one that I wish I would pick up and read. What is okay? Let me look up Stephen Graham Jones is everywhere. And The Only Good Indian. Who read that recently? I swear I heard that before. Slewfoot, Tale of Bewitchery by Brahm. Interesting. This released in 2021. Colonial New England. Dark fantasy. Connecticut 1669. Interesting. Yeah, John, I saw the thumbnail. I was like, man, I've had it sitting in my cabin. I listened to the audiobook a little. I got intrigued, and then I was like, okay, I gotta hold off. Kane Saga. Yeah, Stephen Graham Jones. There's somebody else that talks about him. Not here. Definitely not in our chat. I don't know who that guy could be. Master of Suffering, both writing and watching of the Jets. Yeah, man, it hurts. And we're playing Miami this week. I think we're finally going to win, but it's like, what does it matter? Yeah, the Blackwater. I love that cover too. The start of Blackwater really was like it hooked me. It did hook me, and it felt like it was going by pretty smooth. Love The Only Good Indians, and I don't read much horror. Was it Preacher? I think it was Preacher that talked about it. This guy Preacher, he's the guy that mentioned because it's Stephen Graham Jones. I think he said he just discovered Stephen Graham Jones. Was just saying that. Says he doesn't like him. Clip this and send it to Stephen Graham Jones. And blame Preacher reads. Go Niners. Yeah, whatever. Dude, 3-0 with not a healthy player on the roster is insane. But oh geez. 0-3 with some healthy players on the roster. Now we're talking. Yeah. Hey, Skeff, I have your book sitting on my my shelf right there. Cardinals fan. Oh yeah, that was a rough one. You guys got a lot of potential with the talent, but they're not clicking. They are not clicking. Oh, definitely. Whenever it's not like a NFC West rival. What was I about to? Skeff. Yeah. I got his books over here. Good books, great covers here. Let me see if I can pull them up. Stand by while I pull these out. Brian Skeffington. Here we go. Big time. Look at these covers. These are up there with some of the best sci-fi covers I've seen. I also really like Dennis M. Myers's covers as well. I think I'm a lost. I think I'm a Lost Souls guy over Eternal Dreams. If I'm man, that's tough actually. They're both so good. I just love the armor in Lost Souls. So the purple and the blue, I don't know, that's so rad. The hammer also. I'm so happy you told me that was a mall. Oh, they are. Nice. That's good news. I might have to jump on board and read him with him whenever he decides he's going to do it. I don't know if you guys heard me. Pretty disputed, but it's an all-timer. Pretty disputed, but it's an all-timer. All right. Roger Dodger. Okay. Yeah, those covers are seriously gnarly, Ryan. I this is gonna sound crazy. Like I love the Sun Eater covers. Do not get me wrong, of the standard like deluxe editions. And I love the art. I love the artwork of the Murdered Sun. I love the new one that they're gonna do for Empire of Silence on Andreata books. But like the classical feel scaff that yours give off, I think I prefer. Now that said, the broken binding editions of Sun Eater are kind of unbelievable, especially the last two. This Ash is a Man cover, this Kingdoms of Death cover, it was just like unreal. But yeah, as far as like, I mean, your covers crush, dude. I seriously love them. That's like the type of art I like. I love that like dark feel. If you don't like it, you hate it. And he did the Buffalo Hunter right? Which I've heard was pretty conflicting. Also pretty disputed. His narrative choices are interesting, I think. I hear. Yeah, that's what I thought I heard. The Reformatory by Tanadu. You got so many books up, brother. I can't do that anymore. They just don't. I can't. I try. I usually have one that's like perma audio, and then the other one I can read and do immersively, which is Toll the Hounds right now, and then the V.E. Schwab read, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So I listen to that on some morning walks on occasion here. Yeah, Tops Rockyo in all aspects. No need to read. Keep it moving. Just buy the books. That's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah. No, I mean, I haven't opened the book yet, Ryan, but I intend to at some point. It's literally just a matter of my reading speed has gotten terribly slow. But even that, like I'm moving through Malaz, and I feel like I'm moving actually pretty smoothly and pretty fast, but it's still like really taking me a little bit. Cassandra Caw, which I think I'm saying that right, and Richard Caudry. The Dead Take the Train. The Dead Take the A Train. Oh, it's about New York. Great urban fantasy cosmic horror. Absolutely love it. I had a slight issue with the narrative aspect, but once I caught on, I was fine. Like I said, I don't really like horror. Okay, yeah. So Stephen Graham Jones does make creative and original narrative choices. I think, unless I'm sure there's other people out there that have that sort of choice, which I know there's another book that Preacher you're obsessed with that has a particularly strange narrative structure. And then there's that one by David Mitchell I really need to get to. Not enough time in the world for everything, especially with football season interrupting 4 days of the week. I mean, yeah, I really like. I'll usually watch the first half of the night games. Monday being the exception because I watch Baltimore and the Lions just get after it. I stayed up for that whole game, but I had a little later start at work, so I let myself. But usually I'll turn it off about halfway and just read. Yeah, weekends are oddly enough like I don't read on the weekends like I used to. House of Leaves is the story I was talking about, Preacher. Yeah, 100%. That is one I want to read. I want to read Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. There are so many books that like I am intent on getting to that just due to my reading speed slowing down. Like I still have to read Dark Age. Like I'm on Dark Age right now. I need to read that. Like I know I'm going to be so mad that I put it off as long as I have. But I need to read it. And I'm probably going to wait until after Shadows Upon Time to do that. Man, am I excited for this North Carolina trip. So let me tell you. No. Yeah. I am not. I am not caught up in Red Rising. Not even close. Dark Age, Lightbringer, and then I'll be there. I might, as soon as Red God has like, maybe that'll amp me up. I know that new story coming. I ordered that cool Red Rising one from Amazon. We may dominate the world. A historical look back at U.S. foreign policy from Civil War to World War II. Wow. Yeah, definitely good things to know. It's interesting. We may dominate the world. Okay. I do like history, but I don't read enough of it. Berserk. Okay, yeah. Volume 4 of like, not like the deluxe editions, right? Like the actual volume 4. Like I didn't realize that they were like that when I first started. And then eventually I figured it out. Oh, chair's dipping a little lower there. Yeah, okay. Volume 4 currently. I really am enjoying Berserk. I didn't really get to any this week, but I've been averaging about a chapter a week, maybe 2. Yeah. Well, I do. If you're going to be caught up on Sun Eater, just finish Sun Eater. I am actually relatively curious, the same way I was curious about Malazan and my book, the Mercy series, obviously. But I am actually curious as to people who go from reading Sun Eater to Red Rising, what they're going to think, or how much they're going to think is similar, how much they're going to think is different. I think there's so much that is different about it that they're not even, but they are like, if you're talking about just like a sci-fi space opera, which is what they are, like sci-fantasy. Yeah, I'm curious to see what people who are going into Red Rising will think coming from Sun Eater. Okay, just the original volumes. Got it. I mean, if you book that one Airbnb, yeah, it will be. I think it's gonna, that Sun Eater conference is gonna be crazy. Oh, end of Golden Age 1. Oh yeah, you got some time. I'm not excited for you, and I'm also very excited for you at the same time. It's like a very weird feeling in terms of talking about Berserk. North Carolina trip about to be wild. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think I'm looking forward to like meeting all the booktubers, seeing Christopher again, probably his brother, who I saw at MarsCon, and I vibe with his brother a little bit. So I'm hoping that he's there so we can talk about D&D a little bit. But I'm more so looking forward to like meeting you in person, Preacher, meeting. I've met Jake at another conference, so it'll be nice to see Jake. And then everybody else, like Chris, Bearded Book Beast, John, yeah, you of course, and Jacob presumably, Mike Books Review, the Tudor Ramble guys, like just Books, Beverages, and Besties. I think both of them are going, so I'm just really looking forward to meeting the crew, meeting the BookTube community, meeting people, in that we communicate online, or we talk on the phone or whatever, and we get in these conversations, which are great. But I just like love seeing people in person. I just love meeting people. I just like I like being around people. They are so different. Sun Eater's whoops, just unplugged my headphones. Not that I need them. Sun Eater is Red Rising from Roke's perspective. Oh, okay. Huh, interesting. Okay, I have to finish Red Rising to really understand that fully, I think. Yeah, Keys, it would have been really cool. It's like everybody communicates for the last however long, almost year and a half, a little more than that, maybe. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being there. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. Spend some time in Raleigh, getting some good cups of Joe, and some decent food. I hear we're passing around in our Book Street Boys chat some food joints over there in North Carolina and Raleigh. I don't think I've experienced too much. I've been to Raleigh, maybe like I've been to the major downtown Raleigh, maybe handful of times. Okay, yeah. That's a good point. I have met Rogue. Yeah. Okay. So if Red Rising told from Rogue's perspective, you say they're so different, and then you say that they're a character in Red Rising tells the story of Red Rising himself, and it becomes Red Rising. So I don't understand what you mean by so different. I know why people compare them. I know why people compare them, because you have first person perspective, epic space, sci fantasy. That is why. And the obviously both characters are dudes, and that's probably a part of it. But I like how Pierce Brown has challenged himself with going multi POV after the first trilogy. I like the risk. Thanks for stopping by, Christopher. Really happy that you'd have. Yeah, I'm honestly like Stuart Back. Dude, I gotta look how to say that. I gotta ask him how to say his name. Stuart Batch is a very good cover artist. Incredible. We saw it different in a lot of ways, but Roke and Hadrian might. Okay, I can see that. Maybe because the dramatism of. Wait, Preacher, are you on Kingdoms of Death right now? Where are you in Sun Eater? Actually, you gotta. I imagine that you're caught up. No, there's no way you're caught up. Yeah, there's quite a bit of monologues. Ashes of Man. Okay, so you have read Kingdoms of Death. Did I watch a video where you talk about it? Why do I feel like I haven't? Or if it's up, I haven't. Which is more on me if you have made one. But otherwise, it's on you. Middle of Ashes of Man. Okay, yeah, Ashes of Man. The Longer I Linger. That was a favorite of mine. I think it still is. I think that there's a particular scene near the end that happens that really just like fulfilled that something I came into Sun Eater looking for at a different level. Yeah, DQ. Wait, so you're on Disquiet Gods, EJ? Yeah, Disquiet Gods. I think Preacher. I think Disquiet Gods might end up being at my top. I don't know where your rankings are, but if I really liked Howling Dark. I think Howling Dark, Kingdoms of Death, Demon in White. No, Ashes of Man is up there for me, and so is Disquiet Gods. It's the decisions that we have to make. Howling Dark is 2. I think you're gonna like Disquiet Gods better than both of those. I think so. Yeah, Howling Dark's really next level. They were, yeah. So I usually just count it as one. I think it's silly for me to separate them, because I liked both so much. I think I really liked Ashes of Man. Like the ending of Kingdoms of Death, of course, felt like this is where it belongs. But yeah, no. I had like a similar moment. That particular chapter is pretty notorious at this point. The one that Christopher wrote in Disquiet Gods. I believe it's, oh gosh, I'm going to get the number wrong, so I'm not going to say it. He wrote a particular chapter. Things happen, and you're just like, you get a little bit of just shock. It was so well done. As far as the writing is concerned, obviously it's Christopher Rocchio. He just keeps sharpening the tools. But that particular scene really hits in Disquiet Gods, like it did for me for Howling Dark, like it did for me with Kingdoms of Death. There's just like, I know you're a moment reader, right? I think that's how you described it. Is it moment reader or, like you like the moment, you like the big moments, you like the memorable moments and events. And so I think that's probably why That's one of the reasons why I think I'm kind of similar in that vein. Like as much as I enjoy characters, I really like the moments. See, this for me is interesting. It's like it's the most supreme. You love moments. I think of Golden Sun, the end of Golden Sun, obviously. The end of Morning Star it didn't like necessarily land for me, and neither did Iron Gold. I see why it would, but for me, I enjoy it. But as far as like standout, if we're talking standout moments, I guess there's some in the first Red Rising book that really, if I'm thinking not like earlier in the book and then later in the book, it's a good point. The first Red Rising book, sure. Golden Sun. Oh, there's a particular character I liked, and in Morning Star, I think that was a moment that really stuck out for me. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Anything Ragnar's peak. Dark and Light. Yeah, well, I'm getting there. Once I'm in Dark Age and Lightbringer, I'm sure I'm going to fondly reflect on how much I like the other books. I just have to catch up. It's on me. By all means. But yeah, I want to get a Dark Age, but I'm thinking like the moments in Red Rising, the very first Red Rising book, I count the beginning of that story is pretty memorable. I count like 2 or 3 in the original. No, maybe Morning Star had more than I think. It's just like I don't like think about it all the time, if you know what I mean. Excuse me. Sun Eater is always in the back of my mind. Sun Eater is always back there. Other things, like I don't know. I just freaking love stories. But yeah, I'm stoked that Pulling Feet, the passage is. Are you talking about in? Oh, okay. This is Red Rising, the first book. The passage. I don't remember the passage, dude. It's not striking a memory for me. Horses sure packs, yeah. Last battle, yeah. The Pulling Feet for sure. I don't know why it all felt blended together for me. I don't know. But you're more of a moment reader, I think, than I am. I don't know. I do love me a moment. If I think about like the things that stand out in my favorite media, it's like, in Dune, we're talking about the movie. There's a particular Jason Momoa scene that sticks out to me. Obviously Gom Jabbar, and then the final duel. And like I think in a film, if you have moments like that all the time, it's like kind of crazy. Is this what he's doing? Every single one. Pulling Feet, the passage, horses, packs, last battle. Knife handed me. Yep, you're right. And I just did to the entire chat. Okay. So maybe there is more juice with Red Rising than I initially thought as far as the original read. What's everyone's most anticipated reads for after spooky season, not counting Sun Eater? With the sequel to Will of the Many, Strength of the Few, Empire of the Dawn. I think that's right. Empire of the Dawn. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I remember this. I remember it because you told me about it. I'm going to start infuriating Preacher with Red Rising takes and Will of the Many. Strength of the Few, I think, is up there. Empire of the Dawn is up there. Man. I don't really, those are like as far as new releases are concerned, I'm like, yeah, that's it. After spooky season, getting to Malazan. There we go, EJ. You get your horror reads in, and then you get right into like weird fantasy horror, just with absolutely an insane world that unlocks so much for me. I said this in a conversation with Eric Bowden, another author, who was saying that Malazan, or I was saying that Malazan has it unlocked something for me as a writer, and my creativity. It just showed me what was possible, what not just what was possible, but like unlocking the scope of a story, unlocking the scope of how many perspectives can we see through, what's going on in this part of the world, and how is that affecting the other things that are going on in the world. But yeah, there you go. You have chapter 19 marked in your notes because Preacher has mentioned it on Discord and many comments on BookTubers. I get why that's a memorable moment, but for me, it just didn't. I don't know. I don't think I was as attached to, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't attached in that way. To Darrow, yes. But to him, I was still in the headspace of, hey man, this stuff happened. X people did it to you. I feel like I don't know if you'd care just yet, but it was, maybe I could see it being like a domino, the first domino for sort of the character of Darrow as he progresses. Hopefully I don't think I spoiled anything there, but I think I kept it pretty vague, but I might have slipped. I might have had a slip up. Might have spoiled something. Oh, okay. All right. I can see that. See, I got that was nothing in comparison to the start of the book for me in terms of like my expectations of what Pierce would do. Like, I think that was very clearly established by the end of that chapter, before the passage. Capricious Fox, get back to your project of reading early classic fantasy. Capricious, Gormenghast is one I want to get to, need to get to, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's at the top of like some classic fantasy that I really want to read. Dennis McKiernan. Okay. Next, you're going to trash Name of the Wind and just trigger me completely. I thought you like Name of the Wind. Is that why you're saying it? Okay. I thought you liked Name of the Wind, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of people that don't like Name of the Wind. I'm sure. I have a feeling that I'm going to feel the same way about Name of the Wind as I do Will of the Many. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. I may end up doing that. No, Will of the Many I thought was fine. I thought Jake hating Will of the Many was probably the biggest highlight because there's so many things that stuck out to him that he just didn't like. Name of the Wind sucks. Oh gosh, here we go. DNF'd at 50%. It was just boring for Skeffington. Expertly written though. Name of the Wind sucks. Okay. How are you You're also rereading Will of the Many? All right. Good luck in your premiere. I'll probably sign off here in the next 5 or so. I just wanted to get on and celebrate the release of the cover reveal. The cover reveal for book 2, Ills of Fate. Oh, you can leave, dude. I mean, you got to set up for the next 15 minutes. You got your, what's it called going on? The premiere of your weekly video. Jack Vance and ER Edited. Oh, because of the Red Rising hate? Yeah. DNF, man. That's DNFing Name of the Wind. Name of the Wind hate. That's what it was. Locked out. Edison. Okay. I was like, Edidin. I was like, ER Edidin. I was like, man, that's a name I've never seen before. Edison makes a little bit more. I can put that together for myself. Yeah. Thanks, Keys, man. Yeah. I'm really stoked about, I'm like starting to alter the blurb that I put out there for people. I sort of honed in the first one for book 1, like over the course of time. I'm going to try and narrow down book 2 a little bit better this time. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to the arcs and everything. No, I heard Keys DNF'd Red Rising after. Wait, what did I just do? After the beginning of the book, he stopped. So There you have it, preacher. That's that. Oh wait, it wasn't Red Rising and Name of the Wind. Those are the two that are going to trigger preacher. Are there any more preacher? If you're hanging around, that are there other books that if people trash, you have no patience for, or you immediately start yelling? He's making his life worse. Oh, Name of the Wind, maybe. Or Keys is making his life worse. I need to know, though, preacher. I must know. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That needs to be your next soapbox, because I feel like it's been affecting you recently. Yeah, no, I actually love Stephen King, and I get it now. And before the Bible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there you go. But as far as King goes, I really do want to get to some more Stephen King. It feels strange to not read some of the like major Stephen King books when you're getting into him. I think like the bottom rung of getting into him is like, if I'm thinking about books I've heard of that are, I think, relatively newer, but like Mr. Mercedes and Billy Summers. I haven't read either of those, by the way. But I see those books as sort of like, that might be entry level King. Like that's the bottom, I think, tier or rung from an outside perspective, in terms of if you're getting in and you're going to stick around, like these books are probably, after this, the tiers might fall off a little bit. I've only read The Gunslinger and The Stand. Keys, probably. I think The Stand is still, to this day, a top 10 book for me. I love that post-apocalyptic stuff, and I like seeing it the way we see it, very much so. I actually have another post-apocalyptic, more contemporary story in my pocket, that I will be playing with at a future day. You know, because I love The Road, I love The Stand. I'm gonna call a book The Sit or The Sidewalk, and we're gonna write. That's what I'm gonna end up. I just decided that now, that I'm gonna call my contemporary post-apocalyptic post-apocalyptic. I do that once every live stream. It's crazy. Tommy Knockers. Yeah, I mean, that's like what I'm saying. I entered at Gunslinger. I knew it wasn't an entry point, but that's where I entered. But going in knowing that this isn't what people would recommend to get into King, and just like purely trying to read Dark Tower, I was fine. I like The Gunslinger. I do. I enjoy that story a lot, and I like actually how fast it moved. Seemed like a really good, appropriate start. I have 11/22/63 ready to go. Entered with Pet Cemetery. Oh, interesting. You know, for me, it was Gunslinger and then The Stand. And The Stand was a top level book. It was very long. There were some scenes in there that were in there for like, I was like, all right, sure. Very, I don't know, maybe it was coked out King. I don't know. I know that that's a thing. But there are definitely some scenes in The Stand that maybe didn't need to be in there. At least one that sticks out to me in particular, from actually a favorite character of mine in all media. Actually, yeah, Preacher, where would you say, for me, knowing my taste potentially, where would you say for me would have been an appropriate entry point for Stephen King? And then I need you to make that list for Jake. I'm actually not sure how much King he's read. Other readers who haven't like read a ton of Stephen King, like myself, like I haven't read a ton. I intend to. I really want to. I really want to finish Dark Tower. I really want to read some other Stephen King stories. And honestly, like Mr. Summers or Billy Mercedes or wow, Billy Summers, Mr. Mercedes. Oh, that was actually really funny. Those are two that I really want to get into. The Shining. Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely am game for some 11/22/63. I found a paperback of it just at a random library, and I picked it up because I was like, I know I need to read this. You think I will love it? Okay, I know that there's something that happens at the end of it that I may also find the same way that I found that scene in The Stand. No King at all. I'll start with Gunslinger years ago, but just wasn't for me. I have multiple on my shelf, just haven't pulled the trigger. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I read a decent amount before getting into Gunslinger, so I felt comfortable going into that read. Yeah, I'm actually curious as to what you would think Keys might like Preacher for a Stephen King intro. And then I'll get ready to sign off here for this final bit, because we got the Preachers going live for a premiere in 8 minutes. Revival. You'd love Revival. Pet Cemetery and Misery. Ooh, Misery is one I'm going to get to. Only read Gunslinger. Yeah, EJ, I'm not super familiar with your reading taste. Lonesome Dove for me was like an absolute top tier book that happened to be a Western. It was so freaking good. I highly recommend, which I know like it's not saying anything new. Everybody loves Lonesome Dove. Misery is super good, especially if you know the story behind it. Oh, well, Preacher, I'm going to have to ask you the story behind it one time. I should look it up, or maybe I do know it. Never read King. Never read King. Wow. Never read King. Just a blatant statement. Never read King, but I might try The Shining in the far future out of curiosity. I heard its premise is similar to a short story by Carl Edward Wagner. But I might try The Shining in the future. Its premise. Okay. Gunslingers is Western enough to mention Western in the room with it. It's not that Western. It's like flavored sparkling water. It's a really good way to play it. Appreciate that, Keys. Yeah. Happy to do these lives. I got to do more of them. So I get, I enjoy them and I don't do them enough. King wrote Misery after writing The Eyes of the Dragon, and his fans hated it because it wasn't horror. Misery is an allegory for what his fans did to him. Oh, that is interesting. That's so funny. Huh. Okay. Knowing what happens in Misery, having never seen the movie or never read the book, I still know what happens, which just tells you how transcendent a story like that is. But yeah, okay, noted. That makes me like it more, even though I've never experienced it. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off, guys. I'm going to enjoy the evening, kind of dinner. I'm just grateful. I wanted to come on and express my gratitude to everyone that has followed along this far, left a review over on Amazon, whatever. Any sort of interaction that we've had, I'm grateful. I'm really looking forward to getting Mercy Hills the Fate out to everybody. I will be doing my regular weekly update video next Thursday, as always. No worries, Dennis. I mentioned you earlier. Talking about awesome sci-fi covers. I did mention you, Dennis. Can't wait for book 2. Yeah, no, I'm stoked too. I really am. I think that this is putting it together too with book 1. I think will ultimately be the right decision in the long run once that happens. So that way, all the stuff that happens in book 1 sort of carries over technically into the second volume. So it's we get our arcs squared away. which I'm really looking forward for people to experience, because there's a lot of answers to a lot of questions that were raised in book 1 that are given in book 2. But I'm going to cut off here. Grateful you guys tuned in. If you're catching this on replay, thank you. Make sure to leave a comment saying you're catching it on replay. And I will catch you guys at a later date. We have some audiobook news coming up in the future here. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Very much appreciated, Eric. You've been around for a very long time, and I'm so grateful that that you have been. But yeah, there's some news in the audiobook front, hopefully coming in the coming weeks. We'll have a little bit more there, as far as the production of the first audiobook goes. But for now, I'm going to sign off. I will see you all later. Thank you so much for coming to this cover reveal stream for Mercy Heals of Fate and Shootin' the Shiz. I will see you guys next time. And then you press the button here, and it's